For devout believers, the central tenet of the ancient Chinese religion of Taoism, or the practice of Taoism, is the belief that adhering to certain beliefs and practices can lead to a longer life, a better way of life, and sometimes even immortality. The religious tradition of Taoism actually venerates a group of 8 immortals, or called Baxian, who offer a concrete symbol of the ability to attain immortality, and they transcend the limitations of daily life through beliefs and practices of the way of Tao, or Taoism. They serve as mythological archetypes of immortality achieved through practice of Tao. Among the 8 immortals, Baxian celebrated in Taoism, a number seems to have actual historical existence. So they're said to, been born during the Tang dynasty, which is 618 to 907 CE, or during the Song dynasty, which is 960 to 1279 CE. Well, some of the immortals were real people. The magical and mystical, tales surrounding these practitioners make it almost impossible to distinguish between reality and what's mythology. Today we learn about one of the 8 immortals. This particular one, there is evidence or different information pointing to a fair certainty that he's actually a historical figure. His name is Zhang Guolao. Zhang is his surname. So Zhang Guolao lived, approximately between the 7th to the 8th century, practicing as a Taoist hermit of that time, and he lived in the mountains of East Central China. So I said that Zhang Guolao is an eccentric old man. He grew up in a very poor farming family. So one day he was walking around in the markets, and he fell asleep in an abandoned temple. When he awoke, he found a delicious cauldron of stew, which he actually ate and gave some to his donkey. After doing so, he realized it was an immortality potion. So the clown of the group, Zhang Guolao, is usually depicted as sitting on his donkey backwards, who can travel thousands of li or miles a day. There's also some documents and sayings that Zhang Guolao was a practitioner of necromancy and claimed that he has been the grand minister to the legendary Emperor Yao in a previous existence. He was known to enjoy drinking wine and made his own, which was reputable to be medicinal and has got healing powers, and greatly favored by all the other 8 immortals. So they, do share a drinking session, 1 or 2 drinks, knocking back the wine that Zhang Guolao has actually brewed and made. Zhang Guolao was also known as a qigong master, was said to be able to abstain from food and drink for many days, existing only on small sips of his wine. So I would like to have some, a glass of that legendary wine, and hopefully, maybe I'll feel better and not be so sick and things like that. So I don't know, Zhang Guolao, can you spare me a sip or, a tiny nip so that can enjoy the the benefits of your special medicinal wine. Zhang Guolao is said to be really powerful. He's got special powers and was said to be able to turn invisible, drink poison without any harm, make flowers wilt by pointing with his finger. And obviously his wine comes into play, and they've got healing powers, and him drinking his wine, he can abstain from anything else. He doesn't need water or food. In art, he's always depicted sitting on the back of his donkey or mule. When the journey was over, he would always then take his mule, fold it up and put it in a box, and in his pocket for safekeeping. I would like to have one of those too, Zhang Guolao. Not only wine, but I would like my pocket mule, so that I could, have a sip and unfold my mule, sit on him, go somewhere, and then pack him up without having to wait for Uber or taxi in the rain or in the heat. So I like to have one of those mule plates too. So when he needs his meal again, he would pour water from his mouth onto the mule, and the mule would regain his shape. Like, I don't know. Growing up, in the 80s in Singapore, we've got this little toy. I'm not sure whether you've seen it, but those who grew up in the 80s in Singapore might know what I'm talking about. There's this little thing, like really small. I swear it's made out of sponge of some sort. It's compact. It could be a shape. I had fish or dragon or monkey, and you pour water in it, and it just expands and grows to like 100 times its size. So it could be that small, and then it's like that big after that. So it might be the same thing. So this mule could go from very small, and then with water from Zhang Guolao's mouth, he could regain and goes back to his original size. The symbol that he carries is a fish drum, a kind of percussion instrument, and sometimes he's shown with a peach or a feather of the feng huang or phoenix. So a rather famous literature featuring these 8 immortals or Baxian is a story called The Immortals Crossing the Sea, which is Baxian Guohai, which is written during the Ming Dynasty. So in it, the 8 immortals actually cooperate and work together using their powers to cross a choppy ocean. So this particular literature actually immortalized in the idioms or idiomatic Chinese phrase of 8 immortals across the sea, each revealing their divine power. It says 八仙过海，各显神通. Which describes a situation or a scenario where everyone uses their particular abilities to achieve a common goal. So we actually do that in our daily lives, either with relationships, peer to peer, friends, family, even at work. So we are practicing the ways of the Baxian. So next time when you're gonna maneuver a difficult question, a situation, resolve a conflict at work or within your families or siblings, or even your husband, wife, or partner, or even kids, puppies, kittens, pets, I don't know. Think about this term, which is 八仙过海，各显神通.